How's it going, everybody? My name is B, and welcome back to Your Altcoins. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to talk about the market. We're not going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about a different concept, something I've covered before, but something that has been brought to my attention recently in a conversation with a lovely young man I've been talking to for a while over email, going back and forth about cryptocurrency, talking to him about how I would invest, etc. And we came to a conversation about how I personally would invest $100,000 if I had the opportunity. Now, that was a very interesting thought experiment. And for me, that's a thought experiment because that reality is just not possible. But it's very fascinating. It's different than how I would invest $10,000. And it is definitely different than how I would invest $1,000. So I thought, okay, maybe this can be applicable to some people. And for those of you that don't have $100,000, which I believe is the vast majority of you, the purpose of this channel is to speak to the general audience who are just getting into crypto. So for those of you that don't have $100,000, just ratio it back. So instead of $100,000, imagine it's $10,000. Or if it's not $10,000, imagine it's $1,000. But what you're going to see is this investment strategy is not so effective with lower amounts of money, because with so much more money, there's inherently so much more to risk. So you have to be more careful. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the fascinating thing about investing such large amounts of money is that you're afraid of losing so much money, and it changes the strategy drastically. What I have in front of you right now is a different look at the cryptocurrency market. This is the crypto market as of February 19th, 2017. So pretty much a year ago. I couldn't get it to the day. That's not how the snapshot works, but I got it to the 19th of February, 2017. And I want to point some interesting things out to you guys at the time. Bitcoin, with a whopping market cap of 17 billion, that's it. That's 1/10 of what it's currently at right now, even during the dip, was worth $1,000 back then. Ethereum was worth $12 back then, market cap of only 1 billion. Litecoin was $3.78 as opposed to the $240 it is right now. Monero is only $13, Dash is only $22, Ethereum Classic $1. And there are some coins up here that aren't really up here right now. MadeSafe coin is a top 10 coin. Augur is a top 10 coin. Golem, I don't even know where that is. That's so far down there. So why I'm bringing this to your attention is, if we look in the top 25, top 30, top 50 coins from a year ago, it can give us an idea of how things can grow. For example, Dogecoin is down here at $22 million market cap. Stellar Lumens, 2 cents, actually it's less than a penny a coin. Stellar is here at the 22 ranked coin. So why am I bringing this to your attention? What I've noticed is, looking through all of these currencies, I'm scrolling through the top 100 coins from back then, and I'm not seeing anything that jumps out to me as a massive mover. I mean, the only one that really jumps out to me is Stellar Lumens, but that's a fantastic project. So if you're investing big money, I would stick with the top 10, top 15 coins. Here's just one example looking back a year ago of how those top 10 coins are still here and still vastly overperforming what they're at right now. So now we're going to apply that to today. Today, we are looking at a Bitcoin that is at $10,000, an Ethereum at $800, a Litecoin at just under $200, Neo is $115. How I would invest $100,000 is as such. To start, we're going to start with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin at hovering around $10,000, I would purchase 3 Bitcoin. That's pretty much 30% of my initial investment. I would purchase 3 Bitcoin. I would take it. I would put it on a ledger. I would put it on a Trezor. I would get it offline on a hardware wallet, store that wallet in a safe, and leave it alone. Bitcoin's at $10,000 right now. It is less, it's about half of its all-time high. Using technical analysis, as I talked in previous videos, we can reasonably expect Bitcoin to reach $36,000. Even as high as $54,000 if it goes into a 2.618 extension. Absolutely within the realm of possibility. There are financial pundits calling for a $100,000 Bitcoin. There are even people saying years and years and years down the road of a $1 million Bitcoin, which would make the market cap $21 trillion. That's insane. Hard to visualize right now, so let's stick with the smaller numbers and just talk about a $25,000, a $36,000, a $54,000 Bitcoin. So I would invest 30% of my money into Bitcoin just to start. After that, I would invest 20% into Ethereum, which is $20,000. Ethereum right now is still the best platform to make an ICO. And with so few people being involved in crypto, big businesses and their introduction into crypto will mostly be through ICO and building their own currencies on the backs of other platforms. You're going to notice a very popular trend in my picks where I'm picking coins and crypto and businesses whose entire business model is to provide services to other businesses, because I am very, very strongly believed that big money and big business is nowhere near as involved in crypto as it's going to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. There are trillions of dollars out there who aren't even aware of crypto, who may be aware, but are nowhere near the point of investing in crypto or building their own blockchain solutions. So I believe very strongly in investing in platforms that provide services to big business and allow them to create crypto. Ethereum is still right now the king. So 20% into Ethereum, you're going to pick up at least 20 to 25 Ethereum doing such a thing. Following along with that logic, I would want to invest 10% of that $100,000 into NEO, which is basically the Chinese Ethereum, and that is putting it very loosely. NEO right now has some fantastic ICOs and has a lot of attention. As many of you know, for those of you that want to get involved in ICOs, you have to purchase the native currency of the platform to get involved. So for those of you that want to get involved in an Ethereum ICO, you have to buy Ethereum and then send Ethereum to those people's wallets to get involved in the ICO. Same with NEO. NEO is another platform crypto that I'm super bullish on. It was, oh my God, NEO was under $1 this time last year. It's at $100 right now with a market cap of $7 billion. This could easily reach a $70 billion market cap in this year. That's absolutely possible. That's Ethereum's current market cap. Absolutely possible. I would put 10% of my crypto into NEO. I would wait, hopefully, for NEO to come back down to that $100 range and just grab 100 of these. That'd be fantastic. If it doesn't, you do what you can do and get 10% of NEO. Now, remember, when it comes to, actually, this brings up a good point. When it comes to investing, investing period, it's all about your entries. You have to be patient and choose good entries. You can just buy the cryptocurrency right now at the price it's at and then store it in a ledger, store it in a nano, and just leave it alone. Or you can try and wait for the right time to enter. For example, buying 3 whole Bitcoin for $30,000 or buying 2 and a fraction. Depends, right? You can wait. Hopefully NEO drops to at least $100, but you also run the risk that NEO goes up. So you gotta make your choices, look at your technical analysis, and then go from there. We're gonna change gears and change strategies here, and 10% going into Monero. Monero is right now the privacy coin, and privacy is currently a massive issue and is going to continue to be a massive issue. I was watching this lovely video talking about PayPal, and when you make a transaction on PayPal, the number of financial institutions and government institutions that have information about that transaction is mind-boggling. PayPal gives the information of your transactions to hundreds of corporations and institutions whenever you make a transaction. So privacy is huge, is massively important. So 10% of my $100,000, I would personally put into Monero. Again, all of this, everything I say here is a long-term hold. It's store in a ledger and let it go. Or maybe split up and start multiple ledgers. You know what I mean? This is a lot of money. So this is definitely a long-term hold. So far we talked about 4 coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NEO, 2 of the platform building coins, and then Monero, the privacy coin. Now we're going to go down into some smaller coins, slightly smaller coins. Now we're going to decrease the position size. I want to put 5% into Stellar. I love the team. I love the project. They don't really have a working thing right now, which is why I'm decreasing the position size into 5% of this, but I'm still definitely very, very interested in where Stellar is going to go in the future. I'm very, very fascinated by this team, by this project. And another 5% I want to put into Cardano. Again, another fantastic team with another fantastic idea, concept, and project with no real working system yet. Which is why, again, I'm splitting up these two. I'm splitting up this next $10,000, this next 10% into 2 separate projects of still a very large market cap that each have promising futures. Now this is where things get interesting. This is where things get a little bit fascinating, because for those of you playing the home game, I have invested about 80% of our $100,000, leaving 20% or $20,000. So what would I do? Personally, this is just me. I've taken 80% of my investment, I invested 50% of it into the two biggest market caps, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I've made my portfolio, half of my portfolio is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'm bullish on crypto as a whole, and those two are the biggest crypto with the brightest futures. And also with the least risk of disappearing off the face of the planet. Bitcoin's not just going to stop existing. Ethereum's not just going to stop existing. That's why half my portfolio would be in those two amazing coins. So that's 50%. The other 30% was in a bunch of coins that were platform building or want to be platform building coins. Neo, Cardano, Stellar, and then 10% into Monero, which is the privacy coin, leaving 20%. And this is the fun money. I guess you can put in quotations, the fun money. I, personally, would take that 20% and I would invest it in 20 different projects. So for those of you doing the math, that is $1,000 in 20 different projects. This is our more boom or bust kind of money. This is more of our go big or go home kind of investment strategy. So which means you don't want to invest it in things up here. I'm not going to put $1,000 in EOS. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. I'm not going to put $1,000 into Tron because I don't know about Tron, you guys. I don't think Tron's going to grow a whole lot. I would start coming down here. Something like Binance Coin. I'm actually going to give you a list of a whole bunch of coins I would probably put down $1,000 on. Not necessarily in any particular order, but coins I believe have a very good use case, a very good purpose. I put $1,000 on them. Icon and Nano are two additional projects. Icon wants to be like an Ethereum, and Nano, I love that. Was Rayblocks. I love Rayblocks. These are two projects I would drop $1,000 on. Let it sit there. I'm very, very bullish on them. A $1 billion market cap. I mean, we looked at the history. We looked at 1 year ago and how some coins in this 20 to 30 ranked range became very, very big. Binance Coin is another one I drop $1,000 on. One, so I can do some transactions on Binance and have a half off of my transaction fee, but two, because Binance is the biggest exchange, and because I believe crypto more and more people will be trading on Binance and trading on crypto in general, I believe investing in Binance Coin at $8 when it was already at $20 earlier this year is a very lucrative concept. 0x is a very fascinating project. They're trying to create a decentralized exchange, and that could be a very fascinating thing. So as our exchanges become more and more regulated, there may be people who want to trade on a deregulated, decentralized exchange. So there's something I might put $1,000 on. If that gets off the ground, that might be the decentralized exchange, and wouldn't that be a fantastic gamble? Polymath is a fantastically fascinating project I've brought up before. I would put probably a couple $1,000s. I might even put $2,000 or $3,000 down on Polymath. Polymath is trying to be the bridge between the securities market and crypto, providing a platform and its own ST20 token to create or allow securities markets to create their own cryptocurrencies. Another platform builder. I'm personally, right this second, thinking about trying to find some other fiat to put into Polymath because the securities market is a multi-trillion-dollar market. There is tons of money there, and being the bridge between securities and crypto, that is massive, huge project. Very, very interested in it. And the further down we go, the more interesting projects we find with even more risk to reward ratio. Enigma has a very fantastic MIT-educated team. Very bullish on those guys. Poet, I've talked about the need for allowing creative entrepreneurs to have ownership of their works, and Poet's trying to solve that problem. That's really important to me personally. Vibe is an interesting project if you like VR and AR. I've talked about that. Crypto 20 is trying to be an index fund for cryptocurrency. Could be a very interesting investment. AirSwap is also trying to go with the decentralized way of doing trades. Another potential investment, $1,000 there, why not? Simple Token, I've already praised this coin like crazy. Fascinating project. Again, trying to create a simple, wrapped up B2B solution to people trying to create their own crypto, and on and on. There's so many things I would invest in down here. At this point, with your last $20,000, how you invest it would be up to you. Do your own research. And I want to show you guys another interesting tool that you may find fascinating when making your kinds of decisions. This website is called CoinGecko. Is an interesting website that lets you look at crypto from different perspectives that you may not have had a chance to look at them before. CoinGecko categorizes crypto in multiple different fashions. It talks about their individual price, their market cap. You can sort by market cap. You can sort by the liquidity, how much is being traded every single day. You can sort by developer interest. CoinGecko tracks the development activity of the coins via public source code repositories. The reason why we're looking at this is that some coins are no longer maintained by the developer. Thus, those coins would appear very unlikely to progress over time. By looking at how much interest and effort goes around the development community, there's a chance the coin will continue to innovate according to how the cryptocurrency market sees fit. So each cryptocurrency is scored based on how interested and how much work the development community is putting into that crypto. For example, Bitcoin's at 98% because there's so many people working on the project, there's so many people looking at the GitHub, and there's so much development interest and community. You can see how many forks it's had, people keeping an eye on it, merged pull requests, contributors, new commits in the last 4 weeks. You also have a community ranking. How interested is the community in it, whether that's Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So how much of a community strength the project has. There is also a public interest rating based off of search traffic, so how much Google search traffic individual cryptos have. This is also very useful to know when the general public is interested in things. So when public interest of Bitcoin is approaching 70%, 80%, 90%, you know the average consumer is looking to Bitcoin. Very useful piece of information. And then you have a total rating, which is everything kind of combined and averaged out. So for example, if we let's sort by developer. So if you believe very strongly that very strong developer interest in a project will have very strong benefits down the road, this may be something you want to look at. So for example, clearly Ethereum and Bitcoin and Monero have strong developer interest. Sia Coin's up here, Zcash is up here. Cardano, I've talked about how the development community is very big in Cardano. There you go, 87%. Steem was very interesting. Steem is that social network. Stellar, another very strong developer community going on there. And I kept going down here. I'm like, okay, here's the market caps, right? I wanted to look at coins with a very tiny market cap but a strong development community interest. So I kept going down. Sia Coins under $1 billion, 717 million, kept going down. Steem dollars doesn't really count. Golem is that really old project. I'm currently not interested in that. Library Credits is another older project. I'm not interested in it too much. Nimic, I wanted to look into, kind of curious about that. Enigma, like I mentioned, I love the team. That's a new project, and this is something very interesting to me. So this is a very interesting way into looking at crypto from different perspectives. You can just go by the total score and go down from here. What is the lowest market cap in the total, the best total score? Dogecoin, $708 million market cap. Waves at 658. Status at 581. Here's 0x. Here's Polymath. Like I mentioned, Polymath, very interested in the developer community. Here's Simple Token, $65 million market cap, 70% developer community. There you go. So this is just another tool to give you a different way of looking at crypto. The more information you have, the more educated and better decisions everybody can make. Quick recap. 30% into Bitcoin. It's the king. It's the granddaddy. It's going to hit 45, 50, even more, $100,000 sometime. So taking 30 grand of your 100 grand, taking 30%. So if it's 10 grand, you take $3,000 and I put it into Bitcoin. I would take 20% and put it into Ethereum. Ethereum is still the platform to create other cryptos. Anything else is just trying to be the next Ethereum or to defeat Ethereum. So therefore, bam, 50% into the top 2 coins. After that, I'm interested in NEO as the Chinese Ethereum. It is the next most likely thing to beat Ethereum. So 10% into that. I will put 10% into Monero from a privacy coin perspective. I believe having a privacy coin investment is very, very important. I would take some money. I would split 5% each into Cardano and Stellar. I like both projects. They want to be very much like Ethereum, etc. And then after that, you take your final 20% and you find maybe between 10 and 20 coins to invest your last 20% into. If you can't find 20 coins, don't worry about it. Put a little extra money into coins you do feel very strongly about. I feel very strongly about Icon. I might put 2 grand into that. I feel very strongly about Nano. I'll put 2 grand into that. Maybe Binance Coin, put some money into that. And that is how I personally would invest $100,000. Now, the other strategy I mentioned in previous videos of going all in on one, sure, that could work with $1,000. You know what I mean? You find a low market cap coin that you really like, or you find a coin with a good entry point that you really like in terms of financial analysis, technical analysis, and you go all in, that could work for $1,000. Would I risk $100,000 on an all-in on one strategy? Not a chance. Not a chance. I would split that out into a more portfolio way, and that's how I would do it. If you like this video and you found some value, share this with a friend so they can find some value as well. If you are still here and you love the content, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell or you may miss out on some of my videos, which would be a tragedy, which would be a travesty. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching.